Todd with the Reason Files. Here today, Stedfast Fort Worth has released 2 attack videos on Adam Fannin and the Law of Liberty channel, releasing a phone call between Jonathan Shelley and disgraced pastor Donnie Romero, why Jonathan Shelley would elect to further implicate himself and Steven Anderson into the affairs and going-ons of Donnie Romero, especially around the time of January 2019. As I'm sure everybody remembers, Anderson dropped what he was doing in Tempe and flew to Dallas-Fort Worth to confront Romero on issues. Romero stepped down from leadership of Stedfast Fort Worth due to sexual immorality, drugs, and gambling. Then Steven Anderson proceeded to install Jonathan Shelley as a new pastor of Stedfast Fort Worth. During this time, Steven Anderson fired Adam Fannin via text message. Also, it should be noted that during the 5-hour meeting in Jacksonville, that's Stedfast Jacksonville, they rejected the leadership of Jonathan Shelley. During this meeting, Ben the Baptist stabs several members of Stedfast Jacksonville in the back. And the next day, Ben the Baptist and Kyle Ward Chambers meet up with Lugo Matthews and Jersey Joe and a few other members who sided with Jonathan Shelley. Steven Anderson, receiving reports from Ben the Baptist and Kyle Chambers on the situation, Anderson decides to fly in Jeff Utzler from Ohio to investigate the situation. Jeff Utzler and friends start hitting casinos and casino bars. Let's remind everybody what Steven Anderson reported.
Steven Anderson, Donnie Romero goes to casinos.
Yep.
And then subsequently after that, Ben the Baptist and Jeff Utzler goes over to casinos. How do we know they didn't fall into the same snare that Romero did?
Well, I guess we don't, since we weren't there, but they were there actually, wearing suits and ties with pictures of Donnie Romero and Adam Fannin and showing them to, bartenders and casino workers, trying to, determine which casinos they'd been to, who was involved. There was an employee that recognized Adam Fannin in one place, but didn't recognize Romero. Another casino they went to, they recognized Romero, but not Fannin. We were just investigating, and so I don't think that they were wrong to walk into a casino together with another brother in Christ holding them accountable, with pictures of these guys to try to complete an investigation to figure out the level of fraud and what was going on. So I fully support what they did.
And also, let's remind everybody what Jeff Utzler told the Reason Files.
There's no detail. The details we went in, Pastor Anderson already addressed it on his program. What he said is what happened.
Steven Anderson stated the reason they were going into the casinos: to talk to bartenders and casino employees. And let's remind everybody what some of the answers to the questions I text Jeff Utzler. Now, with these guys in the casino and cruising the bar with printed up pictures of Donnie Romero and Adam Fannin, quizzing bartenders, employees and ladies that work the bar that aren't necessarily on the casino's payroll. And also, let's remind everybody what the new IFB is known for and sort of synonymous with, since they was there to dig up dirt on Adam Fannin and take a look at the level of fraud. Could this right here have been the reason? Tampering with a witness in Florida means that the person is accused of threatening or being violent towards a person who is a witness or informant. Whether or not the threat is carried out or not does not necessarily impact the charge. This charge carries a 5-year prison sentence. So Shelley further implicates himself and Stephen Anderson while trying to deflect himself from this situation.
Instruction, and thine ears to the words of knowledge. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. Thou shalt beat him.
I don't know how bad of a beating a 1-year-old has to take that they're not able to walk straight, or they're not able to develop walking correctly until later. But it couldn't have been a beating that the kid deserved. Not at 1. What kind of man does that to his own child? I don't even know. Even another child, a 1-year-old. It's disgusting.
Don't want your kids to go to hell, you got to beat them. You got to train them. You got to chasten them. You got to scourge them.
First, from my own testimony, I've seen Shelley slap his own kid in the face, full power at church, in front of everybody. Another time, I saw his kid fall down outside of a restaurant, looked at his mom, and Shelley, came to pick him up, and you saw the kid go from crying to freeze, like an animal scared that a predator was gonna eat him. I know one of his boys came to church for a while with a broken limb.
It's not a suggestion. I thought verse 14, thou shalt beat him. That's the same as all the other 10 commandments. Thou shalt not commit adultery. The same one, thou shalt beat him.
But more than just my testimony, the contractor did work on that guy's house, told me that guy, he was surprised that CPS wasn't going to come and take that guy's kids because he just would beat them all just so badly.
You know how you could squash rebellion in the public school today? Take the rebellious one out and stone him. I bet they'd shapen up pretty quick. And we see, unfortunately, our society is continually destroying itself because of all of these rebellious, arrogant, prideful teenage jerks that just don't want to hearken to their parents. You know what? And God said they should be put to death. The guy that's the lazy gamer. I don't want to get a job. I just want to play video games all day and drink alcohol with my buddies. That guy should be put to death. Care of it. And if you're a stubborn and rebellious child, you better be careful every single step you take.
Title 5 of the Texas Family Code, Chapter 261, Section 261.001 classifies child abuse as a physical injury that results in substantial harm to the child, or the genuine threat of substantial harm from physical injury. It also includes the failure to make a reasonable effort to prevent any action by any other person that results in physical injury that result in substantial harm to a child. Reason files out.